This is breaking news.
In the city in the last few days, from Thursday night to Monday evening. And the reason you probably are not aware of all that was taking place is because the New York City Police Department smoothly handled the influx of activities. You think about Coney Island, you think about the Juve festivities, the West Indian Day Parade, the electric zoo that was taking place, averaging 40-something thousand people each day crossing the bridge. And then you think about the overall public safety, tourism, backyard barbecues, people celebrating the conclusion of summer, and watching men and women of the New York City Police Department respond over and over again, understanding that before they deal with their private festivities, they had an overwhelming responsibility to protect the people of the city, balancing public safety and justice. And I recall looking yesterday on Utica Avenue and Eastern Parkway in the midst of the parade, and watching one incident, looking through one of the drones and watching the men and women. Think about it for a moment. Something happens, police officers don't run from the violence. They don't run from the action. They run towards the action. And while they're doing that, they continue to maintain the activities that are taking place around them. No one does it better than the New York City Police Department. U.S. opening is happening. Parade is happening. People are barbecuing. People are in Times Square. This is just really something that the people of the city of New York should be proud of, the men and women who adorn the blue uniform and carry out the practice of public safety. It was a combined effort of not only our precision policing of the NYPD, but also bringing together all of our partners. It's going to be a hallmark of this administration on how we dismantle walls and barriers to execute plans and ensure that we can just get stuff done. We teamed with our crisis management team, our cure of violence team, community partners, community leaders, technology. This is one of the safest Juve celebrations and Labor Day weekends we have seen in recent memories, and probably the safest Juve celebration in history. Coming off of last year's Juve celebration, you're seeing a continuation of how we are crafting and tuning our craft and introducing new principles and tools to make it even safer. Major crime was down citywide nearly 9% this weekend compared to the same four-day period last year. For Juve and West Indian Day Parade, we created a comprehensive deployment plan, and all of our agencies were involved: DEP, DOT, FDNY, NYPD. Everyone came together to make sure we utilize every asset we had to implement a well-thought-out, comprehensive, executed plan. So I want to make it clear that when it comes to handling these large-scale events and weekends, we are the best. We're the best not only because of the police department, but we're the best because of the other agencies, and we're the best because of New York City residents. They play such a vital role in how we implement and execute these procedures. The approach was clear. How do we celebrate without allowing people to be harmed by those who want to bring violence in this city? Even when you looked at what happened over at the Electric Zoo Festival. It's unfortunate that the organizers wanted to turn our city into a zoo, and we was not going to allow that to happen, and we will be dealing with them in the next few days based on their behavior and actions. But the NYPD was on the scene. You had thousands of people who were not allowed to enter the location because of over ticket sales, and we handled the influx appropriately with the same level of professionalism that we expect. This is what public safety looks like. Your city working to protect you, your family, and your community, and using all resources available, including technology. And Assistant Commissioner Daughtry is going to talk about some of the use of the technology that we put in place and the continuing use of technology as we protect civil rights. We're protecting the rights to be safe. We use a tethered drone on Randall's Island to survey the size of the crowd. It would have been impossible to get a full scope on the crowd if we did not have the technology to do so. And you know what's interesting? It costs $1,700 to fill up a helicopter that is used often in situations like this. It costs 17 cents to fly a drone. That's just good use of New York tax dollars. And all those naysayers, they need to come and see how well we're utilizing technology to make our city safe. It helps us respond safely and smartly to the conditions on the ground. This administration put public safety at the heart of everything we do, especially when it comes to the big events that defines this city. Not only was this past weekend a historic success, one most recent crime stat showed that we are making significant progress on lowering crime overall. Once again, a job well done by Commissioner Caban and getting his troops together, but we're clear, good is the enemy of great. We are pursuing to be great. We want to continue to be the safest big city in America and send a message to all those who want to host events in this city that we can coordinate a multitude of events at one time and make sure that it is handled in an appropriate way and in a safe way. Job well done, NYPD. Job well done, our partners, including crisis management team. Job well done to the people of the city of New York. Commissioner.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everyone knows New York City is unlike any other city in the world. There is always so much going on, from major sporting events to concerts, parades, and more. And where there are large crowds, you can always be sure that NYPD is always there. We saw this on full display over the Labor Day weekend. And like the mayor said, we had the U.S. Open in Flushing, the Electric Zoo on Randall's Island, multiple parades and cultural events, Orchard Beach and Coney Island open to the public, and the many local neighborhood parties happening in each of our 5 boroughs. All these events were packed with families enjoying the holiday weekend. And through it all, the men and women of the NYPD were there, away from their families, keeping watch over yours. Juve alone was an incredible success. 0 acts of violence throughout the evening, as many thousands came out to celebrate the culture and history of the Caribbean. In fact, the entire Labor Day weekend, from Thursday to Monday, in and around celebrations along Eastern Parkway, saw fewer crimes and fewer acts of violence than last year, which, as we all know, was a new benchmark for safety. Chief Shell and Chief Giordano will get into more detail about specific crime information in a few moments. Let me just also add, our success is always shared. The NYPD is fortunate to have many incredible partners, all of whom are working hard toward the same goals. Our Cure Violence teams were out there with us, conducting real-time outreach where it was needed. Members of the clergy were also present. I know Pastor Monroe was walking the streets with our leadership team until late in the night. We also had the Department of Environmental Protection with us, using noise meters to ensure music was kept at respectable levels. Our officers were also highly responsive to any flare-ups that may have occurred, often responding in seconds to calls for help. And over the course of the entire weekend, more than 70 illegal guns were removed from the streets of the 5 boroughs, including 30 from in and around Eastern Parkway celebrations. We have a few of our many great officers responsible for that work here with us today, and I am honored to thank them in person for answering the call and going toward the danger. All of this is a huge undertaking, and there isn't another law enforcement agency anywhere that could do what the NYPD did this past weekend. So once again, I want to express my thanks and gratitude to everyone who worked so hard keeping New York City safe. I will now turn it over to Chief Giordano.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to give a brief perspective related to violence across the city. When we look at shooting incidents year to date, we're down 245 shooting incidents. That equates to 320 victims. That's 320 less people shot this year than last year. So we did an analysis on weekend shooting incidents, related to the festivities and other events across the city. And based upon that analysis, there were 4 incidents in Brooklyn. 3 out of those 4 shooting incidents occurred in the area surrounding. 1 incident occurs on the parade route, and 2 incidents occur in the areas surrounding the parade route. So that's 3 incidents associated with the event along Eastern Parkway yesterday. Just related to some of a testament to the work our cops are doing. We're currently we have to go back to 1996 related to the frequency of gun arrests that are occurring across the city. So our cops are relentlessly pursuing those individuals in possession of illegal firearms. We're going to continue those efforts, throughout the rest of the year, and our cops will continue to focus precisely on those individuals carrying guns.
Good morning or good afternoon. So I just want to reiterate what the mayor and the commissioner said in terms of the obligations we had to all the events taking place this weekend and the staffing that we need to pull this off. And let me start from the get-go. Our department, our city did a great job in keeping this a very safe weekend. So let me start with the Electric Zoo up in Manhattan North. Like the mayor stated, over 2 nights we had 88,000 people attend, over capacity. Aside from the 200+ cops and the 550 private security, we had to maintain the safety of all involved. When we looked at the issues from last year, we took an influx of about 100 grand larcenies, which really pertain to people getting their pockets picked, their bags picked, phones and credit cards. So this year, we put together our new pickpocket team that's been doing well for us throughout the city, and we assembled them all in the Electric Zoo. During the course of the 2 days, they effected 18 arrests for jostling and grand larceny. They did a preemptive strike, if you will, 2 days prior to go after people who have a history of this crime who had warrants and took them off the street. Additionally, the sharp eyes of this team was able to pick off about 15 people who they know are there with fake tickets, fake wristbands, and paraphernalia to commit their crime, and they weren't allowed in the event. So what does this result in the Electric Zoo? This results in a 41% reduction in overall crime as it relates to what I spoke about. We had less people who were sick or aided, and we had an increase of 175% increase in arrests. So at the end of the day, 88,000 people over 2 days, kept them safe, did a good job with less victims of crime, and the cops of Manhattan North did a great job.